Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschapti Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I want to thank and congratulate the 10 warriors who were present for Mangalarti here. There was a movie called 12, and it shows that how 12 people could defeat a whole big army. So these 10 warriors of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement, that's what we do. Devotional service is like, as they describe, poison in the beginning. Yes, very hard to stay awake. The senses are just getting over. I was chanting, and then after about half an hour, I look at my wife and she tells me, because when the mind is too active, then automatically the voice level rises. One time, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, when he joined the movement, he used to chant along with the devotees, and then the devotees were complaining that he's chanting too loudly, very loudly. And then, they tried to explain to him that please chant softly, and Maharaj just couldn't do that. Then the devotees went to Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada said, if you want to chant loudly, then go in the forest and chant. So please forgive me if I have disturbed your chanting. I'll be very careful from next time. I requested Asha to come today for Bhagavatam class, and I said, so I was happy to see her for the Mangalarti. When I want to also speak a little bit about what happens in the temple. The temple life is actually replicating the life of Krishna in Vrindavan. Because we want to ultimately feel at home, we want to go back to home, go back to Krishna. So we practice here, and especially, when, for me, Tulsi Aarti is very, very important. First of all, very purifying, and if you read the verses, even Brahmaji, a little speck of dust or a grass outside of Vrindavan where the devotees, the Brijvasis are walking, and they put their dust of the lotus feet on my head, I'll be very fortunate. So Brahmaji prays to become a grass or dust outside of Vrindavan. Whereas what do we pray to Tulsi Maharani? Please make me a damsel. Just like, what is our position? It's just like nowhere. But still Tulsi Maharani is so compassionate, so purifying, that the devotees have given us the sort of, audacity to ask to become, cowherd damsel. I mean, this is amazing fortune we have. So when we say we replicate Krishna's life here, so Mangal Aarti we have at 4:30. So why at 4:30? Why not at 7:30 when we can wake up, have a cup of tea and come here? There's a reason behind that. Because two reasons are given. First of all, one reason is that the days when Krishna wakes up early, which is very rare also, the mother offers him various items to wake him up and then bathe him and all that. So that's one item. But the other also is there, that when Krishna is just about to leave before the dawn, he's in the forest with the gopis, and he's just about to leave. And the gopis saying, okay, wait, before you go, we just want to finally do one aarti. And that is the aarti. And of course, we do this aarti through the Guru Parampara. And that's why we sing Samsara, not Gurvashtakam. Gurvashtakam, yes, Gurvashtakam. So that's why we go through the Guru and then we worship Krishna. That's the first Aarti. Then of course, then when we are chanting our rounds, the deities are being bathed, they are dressed. Then the morning breakfast will come. So he'll have breakfast, then he goes out, his duties. And then again he's hungry, so the morning either fruit offering is there or Rajbhog is there. And that way, based on his life, whatever we offer here to the deities, that is replicated here. So we get an experience and we come regularly. Today we were 10 and I was thinking, how Prabhupada said that no one should be hungry within 10 kilometers radius of the temple. So any devotee who is staying within 10 kilometers must attend Mangala Aarti. So that's the rule. Yes? So this way we can at least come together and have a blissful experience. And for me, it is just a reminder of the old, graceful days where we used to go for Mangala Aarti and 20-25 brahmacharis were there and the whole room was like a morning party. Everyone has evening party, we have a morning party. So this way, thank you for coming, and I thought it'd be nice, even though in the morning when we brave the cold weather, we brave the brave the desire to press the snooze button, we brave the cold floor between the bed and the bathroom, and then we come here. Krishna becomes very pleased. And then again, when we are chanting the Yoga Sutras, generally they say that in the morning, when we start chanting, for first half an hour, 45 minutes, we are okay. But after that, slowly, who attacks? Nidra Devi. Nidra Devi is attacking after about 45 minutes to 1 hour. So by about 6, quarter past 6, especially it gets a little cooler also, then we have to be a bit careful. So we drink some water, pace up and down, just wake up again and then focus on the holy name, like that. So the main idea is that we get up, we attend Mangala Aarti, and then we chant Hare Krishna, and we read the offenses also, and the mother of all offenses is the 11th offense, inattentive chanting. So that's why we must try our best to be attentive to hear the holy name when we are chanting. So please excuse me for the prelude, but I thought it will be relevant to just speak when we are just starting our spiritual journey. So we are continuing the discussion of Canto 1, the creation, chapter 19, verse number 31. So let's recite the Mangalasharan together. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhupat Sudhu Utam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deen Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapha Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So Canto 1, the creation, chapter 19, the appearance of Śukadeva Gosvāmī, verse number 31. Prashantamasitam makuntamedasam Munim Ripo Bhāgavato Vyupetya Pranamya Murdhana Vahita Kritanjalir Natva Gira Sunrataya Nava Prachat Prashantamāsinamakuntamedasham Munim Ripo Bhāgavato Vyupetya Pranamya Murdana Vahita Kritāñjali Natva Gira Shunratayan Vaprichata Prashantamāsinam Akuntamedasham Munim Ripo Bhāgavato Vyupetya Pranamya Murdana Vahita Kritāñjali Natva Gira Sunratayan Vaprichata Prashantamāsinamakuntamedasham Munim Ripo Bhāgavato Vyupetya Pranamya Murdana Vahita Kritāñjali Natva Gira Sunrataya Vapricha Prashantamāsinamakuntamedasham Munim Ripo Bhāgavato Vyupetya Pranamya Murdana Vahita Kritāñjali Nritva Gira Sunratayan Vaprichata. Others? Prashantamāsinamakuntamedasham Munim Ripo Bhāgavato Vyupetya Pranamya Murdana Vahita Kritāñjali Natva Gira Sunratayan Vaprichata Prashantamāsinamakuntamedasham Munim Ripo Bhāgavato Vyupetya Pranamya Murdana Vahita Kritāñjali Natva Gira Sunratayan Vaprichata. Prashantam, perfectly pacified. Asinam, sitting. Akunta, without hesitation. Medasam, one who has sufficient intelligence. Munim, unto the great sage. Nripaha, the king Maharaj Parikshit. Bhagavataha, the great devotee. Abhyupetya, approaching him. Pranamya, bowing down. Murdhana, his head. Avitaha, avahitaha, properly. Kritāñjali, with folded hands. Natva, politely. Gira, by words. Sunrataya, in sweet voices. Anvapritchat, inquire. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The sage Sri Śukadeva Gosvāmī sat perfectly pacified, intelligent, and ready to answer any question without hesitation. The great devotee Maharaj Parikshit approached him, offered his respects by bowing before him, and politely inquired with sweet words and folded hands. This is such a nice, just visualizing this gives us goosebumps. is such a perfect scenario, perfect setting for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. I will repeat this translation because it's just very beautiful. Please hear very carefully and just visualize the situation in your heart. The sage Sri Śukadeva Gosvāmī sat perfectly pacified, intelligent and ready to answer any question without hesitation. The great devotee Maharaj Parikshit approached him, offered his respects by bowing before him and politely inquired with sweet words and folded hands. Purport. The gesture now adopted The gesture now adopted by Maharaj Parikshit of questioning a master. Please hear this purport very carefully because every sentence, it has got a very deep meaning. Of course, we cannot discuss into so much detail, but please hear very carefully and then you meditate on these sentences as to what the Vedic system is, how we are living in a society which is completely bereft of that, and how much at least we can try and do. The gesture now adopted by Maharaj Parikshit of questioning a master is quite befitting in terms of scriptural injunctions. The scriptural injunction is that one should humbly approach a spiritual master to understand the transcendental science. Maharaj Parikshit was now prepared for meeting his death, and within the very short time of 7 days, he was to know the process of entering the kingdom of God. In such important cases, one is required to approach a spiritual master. There is no necessity of approaching a spiritual master unless one is in need of solving the problems of life. Very important. There is no necessity of approaching a spiritual master unless one is in need of solving the problems of life. One who does not know how to put questions before the spiritual master has no business seeing him. One who does not know how to put questions before the spiritual master has no business seeing him. And the qualification of the spiritual master is perfectly manifested in the person of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. Both the spiritual master and the disciple, namely Sri Śukadeva Gosvāmī and Maharaj Parikshit, attained perfection through the medium of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Śukadeva Gosvāmī learned Srīmad Bhāgavatam from the father Vyasadeva, but he had no chance to recite it. Before Maharaj Parikshit, he recited Srīmad Bhāgavatam and answered the questions of Maharaj Parikshit unhesitatingly, and thus both the master and the disciple got salvation. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiriyat nashtaprayashu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhakti naishtiki. So again, as we see, this is the canto is called the creation. And I was thinking in the beginning that there's nothing mentioned about creation. We're talking of the sages coming, the Sri Gosvāmī coming, passing away of Bhishmadeva, the prayers of Kunti Maharani, all that. But the Prabhupada describes in the second canto, in the beginning, he says, this canto is entitled Creation because it focuses on the process of universal creation and the initial stages of cosmic manifestation. Now why? Because it describes the process given by and the control of the three Purusha avatars. So primarily through the expansion and actions of the Lord, through the three Purusha avatars, which we saw in the third chapter, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. But yes, this is called the creation. So Prabhupada describes like that. So we see here, Prabhupada very nicely says, what is the necessity of approaching a spiritual master? So what did you hear? What is the necessity? Why do you have to approach a spiritual master? Yes, only solve the problems of life. Parikshit Maharaj, he did that. He was about to die in 7 days. Right? And very beautifully he approaches Srila Śukadeva Gosvāmī, bows down to him and asks question in very sweet words, And we can see, Śukadeva Gosvāmī is the perfect speaker. Like me, he did not prepare the class. Just impromptu. He didn't know what questions were going to come. There was no break when we were preparing for the Japa workshop during Easter weekend. When I sent the program to a couple of devotees, They said, Prabhu, the 3-hour session is too long. And then I said, okay, 3 hours, make it short with a little 5-minute break in between. But we can see here that Śukadeva Gosvāmī or Parikshit Maharaj, none of the assembled sages, no one asked for any break. There were questions and answers, questions and answers, questions and answers. So this way we can see perfect speaker is speaking to a perfect disciple. So for us, we have to understand the relationship with Guru. I heard recently when we were in Fiji for the Fiji festival, His Holiness Bhakti Mukunda Maharaj, he gave the 14 qualities of a Guru. Then I was thinking, I forgot to ask him what is the source, what is the reference, and I was thinking, and I was researching all this while, and then just, yesterday I could find it, because the desire was there to meditate upon that and present that. So even though we've moved homes, everything is in the cartons, but somehow the other Krishna made this arrangement. So, I will digress a little bit. We'll first find out the necessity of Guru. Why do we need a Guru? Prabhupada says here, the necessity of a Guru to solve the problems of life. Prabhupada also, in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, he says that Arjuna was in perplexity. And all of us are actually facing the perplexity every minute. So then what do we have to do? Approach a Guru to solve the problem of life. His Grace Kripa Mahaprabhu has written a very nice book, and a lot of my material comes from that book. His book is called Guru and Disciple. It's a very thick book, gives a lot of references and all that. So he gives one of his own stories. He says many years ago he was invited to meet the Queen. It was a special occasion where he was sent an invitation that people who are doing good work in the society. So he was invited. So he was all got excited, reached there before time, in his proper pakka, dhoti, kurta, tilak, everything. And he prepared himself that when I meet the Queen, I will say such and such words. And then when she asked me questions, I'll reply like this. And he was preparing everything. And then when he was, welcomed, and then there's an open ground, and then when he saw, there were 1,200 other people. So then he thought, okay, still, there will be some chance, I could see the Queen. And then the time came, the Queen came, and, the whole, band was going on and all that. The Queen came, and then Queen welcomed everyone. And then Kripa Mahaprabhu saw that only a few people were taken to the Queen to be introduced. And Queen spoke to only those few people. And then he was thinking, okay, there are 1,200 people, and Queen has been introduced only to a selected number of people. And then he writes in his book that there is a similarity here, that yes, we are so many of us, and we all want to go back to the highest destination. But how will we be able to go there? Only when the staff of the Lord Krishna, when they are speaking to us for months, because the Queen staff were speaking to all these people who are going to be introduced to the Queen for months. It was not that you get an invitation, you get to meet the Queen. No. People who are going to meet the Queen, timings were there. How are you going to speak to her? How are you going to approach her? Everything was being rehearsed. So same way, he says, when we approach a Guru, then the practice becomes, the rehearsal begins, so that we can approach the Lord. So he gives his own example like that, that when we have a Guru, so yes, the same principle of meeting an important person in this world is applying when we have to meet Krishna. Guru is a person who's very closely connected. Prabhupada is a person who's very closely connected with the divine couple. Now, how come he's become someone important? How come the Gurus are someone important? So, Kripa Mahaprabhu writes, yes, because of the strength of their spiritual connection. because of what they've achieved through their austerity of a lifetime, because of their cultivation of knowledge, and because of their rigorous and determined practice of spiritual life. So all these things which they have done for decades, for lifetimes, for years, and because of that they become very dear to Krishna, and they are the persons who are going to introduce us to Krishna. So that's why we need a guru. Here we see Parikshit Maharaj. He's a wonderful devotee, he's a pure devotee, but still he's approaching Śukadeva Gosvāmī. So for us, same thing, we approach a guru through, we approach a guru so that he can introduce us to Krishna. My Guru Maharaj, he quotes this prayer from Surdas very many times. He says, I pay my obeisances, I pay my respectful obeisances to my spiritual master. In one hand, he's holding my hand, and in the other hand, he's holding the lamp of knowledge. So because of that, I can be connected to the knowledge which will take me to Krishna. I pay my obeisances. This is the prayer by Surdas. Now Prabhupada says here very directly. He says there's no necessity of approaching a spiritual master unless one is in need of solving the problems of spiritual life. One who does not know how to put questions before the spiritual master has no business seeing him. So that disqualifies most of us. Yeah, that disqualifies most of us because we don't even know what questions to ask. Prabhupada, he used to, in India when he used to travel, he coined a term. Prabhupada has coined many terms, right? Super soul, unalloyed, of course, he bought it from the advertisement. There's so many terms he coined. So one of the terms he coined was Ashirvad Maharaj. Ashirvad Maharaj means, in India, you get to meet a so-called saintly person and all he does is give blessings, right? So one time, Prabhupada, Harekrishna Maharaj and all the devotees, couple of devotees, there were 3 devotees, they were traveling in train from Chennai to Nellore. Nellore is in north of Tamil Nadu. They were traveling in a train, and even though it was like a first class compartment, but in those days it was like nothing. It was like open, the suit of the engine, steam engine will come, and within few minutes you will become dark, black, like the sages of Naimisharanya. And so the disciples knew exactly what to do. The moment they got in, they closed the door, because the only thing they had was the compartment, the coupe, the place where they had, where there was privacy. So 3 disciples and Prabhupada was there. And Prabhupada is, as usual, he just chanting Hare Krishna, he just preparing himself and, like that. And these 3 devotees had the job of making sure that no people come inside. Because what will happen is they say, they are not interested in spiritual life, but they will come to waste the time of Srila Prabhupada. Harekrishna Maharaj was expert in that. He just closed the door, and when they had to go out for something, they'll just make sure people outside, again close the door, no. But then some people knew that some Swamiji, very important Swamiji, with white disciples, is traveling in the train. So they said somehow or the other we have to meet, and they were just standing outside the compartment, and the moment little opens, all they wanted is just eye-to-eye connection with Prabhupada. And once we have eye-to-eye connection with Prabhupada, Prabhupada being so merciful, he has to invite us. He will invite us. So this happened, Harekrishna Maharaj opens the door and one person just had eye connection with Prabhupada. And so Prabhupada, he just, with his eye movement, he invited them inside. And then they paid obeisances. And Hariswami Prabhu is writing, Hariswami Prabhu is also there, he's writing in his book, Transcendental Adventure. He writes that, 3 of them were there and 3 of us were there. For us, we are irritated that, why these people are here. And those 3 only wanted some blessings. So then Prabhupada asked one person, so, after the exchange of greetings, Prabhupada, nicely welcomed them. He asked the names, where they are from and all that. And then Prabhupada looked at one person, he said, so, what can I do for you? Oh, Swamiji, we want some Ashirvad. what Ashirvad do you want? Now they had not expected this question because they were never asked this question. What Ashirvad do you want? So then one person said, my feet, it's hurting. And then he blurted out, also, please give Ashirvad to my family and all that. So then Hari Prabhu writes that, yes, this is what Prabhupada used to call Ashirvad Maharaj. That instead of spending money with the doctor for the knees, they'll come to the Swami to get the blessings. But here, we see, no, the whole purpose of us approaching a spiritual master is that we understand why we are here, the quality. So what I thought, I'll just quickly go through the 14 qualities of the Guru, and then there are 15 qualities of the disciple. So, if you want to write, you can write, but otherwise it will be recorded, so no problem. So first quality of the Guru, which this is again Bhakti Mukund Maharaj quoted, then I thought I will just... So this is from one of the, what we call, from one of the alvars from South India. So first quality is Sat Sampradaya Siddham. So let's hear from the Sanskrit. Sat Sampradaya Siddham, what does that mean? Following? No. Sampradaya. So, he is firmly established in the Sampradaya. So, a Guru, first of all, when you choose a Guru, he has to be firmly established in the Sampradaya. Second one is, here carefully, Sthira Dhyam. What is Dhya? Yes, Sthira Dhyam is someone whose mind is calm. So, his mind remains firmly fixed, even in debates based on deceitful learning. So someone is trying to, pin you down, right? We meet many people. When you meet someone who's going to pin you down by their arguments, this Guru remains stable because he is backed by the Shastric knowledge. Sthira Dhyam. His mind remains firmly fixed. Third is Anagam. Anaga. You use the word Anaga. What is the meaning of Anaga? Krishna calls Arjun Anaga. Sinless. Someone who's sinless, no pap, right? So he is free from sin and never swerves from Shastra. The third quality is Anagam. Fourth is, of course, Shrotriyam. Shrotriyam. To hear. He is fully conversant with the Vedas and the Vedanta Sutras. Right? So he is hearing, fully conversant with the Vedas and Vedanta Sutras. Now when you apply these qualities one by one and see any bogus Guru, then you can immediately say, why follow someone like that? So he is fully conversant with the Vedas and Vedanta Sutra, that is Shrotriyam. Then is Brahmanishtam. Brahma means the Lord. Brahmanishtam, he has resolute devotion to God, free from any blemishes, no blemish. He is completely devoted to the Supreme Lord Krishna. Sattvastham, right? Sattvastham means he is dominated by Sattva Guna. No other guna, no rajas, no tamas is in him. Is in Sattva Guna. Of course, Shuddha Sattva also is there, but he's mentioned Sattva Guna. Next is Satya Vacham. What does that mean? Satya Vacham means always speaks the truth, free from deceitful speech. He always tells the truth. Satya Vacham. Any Guru, if you find, and if you see apply all the qualities, then you think, okay, maybe one, maybe two, maybe three qualities, but all 14? No. Quality number 8 is Samaya Niyataya Sadhu Vritya Sametam. He is adept at religious practices. In all the religious practices, Prabhupada was an expert in everything. Right? Into sacrifices, in Archana Vidhi, in Puja, in Kirtan, in everything, whatever is required, he was an expert. He is adept at religious practices. Dambha Ashuyadhi Muktam. What does Dambha mean? Show off. Here it is described as he exhibits no inauspiciousness. He is always auspicious. And we know the story of that, the person who wanted to find out why Prabhupada is Jagat Guru. And that person stayed with Prabhupada 7 days and 7 nights, all through. And then at the end he said, yes, he is pure devotee because he's 24 hours, 7 days a week, he is thinking of Krishna. So, he exhibits no inauspiciousness. That is the 9th quality. The 10th quality is Jita Vishayi Ganam. Vishayi, Jita Vishayi means, what does Vishaya mean? Vishaya of course is subject, but what does Vishaya normally mean in spiritual life? Vishaya. What does Narottam Das Thakur say? Shadi Vishaya, right? I want to go to Vrindavan. Kabe habe? Hera go Shri Vrindavan. Vishaya Chadiya. Kabe Shuddha habe man. Kabe hame hera go Shri Vrindavan. Shri Radha Giri Gandhari ki jai. So Jita Vishaya Ganam. Of course, what does that mean? Someone who's conquered the Vishaya, right? He does not engage in conduct prohibited by the Bhagavad Shastras. He has controlled senses. So one who has controlled the senses. Yeah? Prabhupada used to quote that you go and hear from these Babas and these Sadhus, they'll speak very nicely, but after the class they want to have their cup of tea. Jita Vishaya Gamanam. No, we have to control the senses. This Guru is control the senses. Dirgha Bandham. Dirgha Bandhum. Dirgha Bandhum. Dirgha means more, better, Mahat, and for long time. Bandhu means he's a friend. So he's a friend and guide for all those who have sought his refuge, always seeking their welfare. How was Prabhupada writing his, signing his letters? Your ever well-wisher. Your ever well-wisher. That means whether you are with me or not with me, I will wish you well always. Prabhupada used to always, many devotees will go away, they'll criticize, but then when they come back, Prabhupada always used to welcome them. So, Dirgha Bandhum, he was a friend who was always seeking their welfare and lifting them up to the ultimate destination. You have to understand this very important. Prabhupada always wanted us the best. He wanted for us the best. And that is why he uses some very strong language in his books. When he uses the words like fools and rascals and all that, people think, why is the sadhu using this language? But as we know, as parents, if you want the best from the children, you will always, even if they come second or third, you will say, no, try your best. Do come to the best. You can do it, you can do it. The athletes do that. In the army they do that because they want the best. So this way, Prabhupada also wanted the best from us. So that's why he uses these words, very strong words, very strong language. There is no necessity of approaching a spiritual master if you do not want to solve your problem. Yes, Prabhupada says directly. The next quality is Dayalum. What is the meaning of Dayalum? Yes. He has spontaneous compassion. He doesn't have to, think, okay, he has spontaneous compassion. We have seen so many instances where our gurus, where Prabhupada shown spontaneous compassion. Many, many times. You think of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, you think of Kamal Krishna Maharaj, you think of Prabhupada, anyone. Immediate compassion. They don't have to be told anything, no. Immediately. When, in the beginning when we serve our spiritual masters and we want attention and then we don't get attention and then we think, why is this person getting attention? That, we understand, yes, that is a compassion of Guru towards that person. Many times, when our God family here also, they say, we have written to Guru Maharaj but no reply. The Guru Maharaj knows that you are well situated. His time he has to give to someone who is struggling. I mean, if someone has 5,000-7,000 disciples, how are you expecting that he will write to you? No, you are situated nicely. Be happy with that. So it's Dayalum. Then the next 13th is Skhalite Sashitava. He corrects his disciples and recommends improving actions for them. Prabhupada said, my duty as a guru is to correct you. I have to chastise you. That is one of my duties. So when some senior devotee, if they correct us or if they chastise us, please don't feel bad. That is the duty of the guru, that he has to correct us. Of course, in these days, our egos are very high, so we correct nicely. But sometimes, under pressure, we also, like thunderbolt. That's fine, no problem at all. When someone, Prabhupada says, what do they say? Sadhus, words are like razor, but the heart is like a rose. Whereas the politicians, words are like a rose, but the heart is like a razor. Yes, gurus are like that they are willing to and able to and always ready to correct their disciples. And the last one, the last quality is, he determines what is mutually good for him and his disciple and acts accordingly. So based on time, place and circumstance, based on the quality of the disciple, based on the spiritual level of the disciple, the Guru will decide what is the best. Different instructions will come for different disciples. One instruction doesn't fit everyone. Prabhupada is given so many instructions, and we cannot use some instruction to our convenience, so that we just, no. Prabhupada is given instructions, so many of them, but we have to understand the context. So these are the 14 qualities of the Guru. Then there are 15 qualities of the disciple. 15 qualities of the disciple. Now get ready to hear this and write this. Because Gurus, of course, will become one day when we have to become. But disciple, yes. What do you think is the first one?
Good listeners.
Okay.
Obedient.
Okay.
Listening.
You will never get this. First one is good intelligence. By coming to spiritual life itself, we have shown intelligence. Yes. There's so much happening. We'll see now how actually we can be our own Guru in the beginning. We can be our own Guru in the beginning. And Krishna says to Uddhava this one. We'll talk about that. So we use our intelligence to come to spiritual life, but then we should also use our intelligence to stay in spiritual life. It's supposed to be here. So first is good intelligence. Second is, very important again, he has the disposition to mingle with and serve the sadhus. So when the devotees are there, we should have the disposition to mingle with and serve the devotees. Yeah, we have to associate with the devotees and serve the devotees. Next one is, he is marked for his righteous conduct, both personal and social. So we have to be conducting ourselves righteously, both personally and socially. Generally, when we come to the temple, we are great, but when we are back in the house or in the society, we just come back to our own nature. No, even socially, we have to be conducting ourselves righteously. The fourth one is, he has an eagerness to learn spiritual teaching. This eagerness is very, very important. And this curiosity, this eagerness, this enthusiasm is actually going to take us to the different levels of Guru, from our own mind to the universe, to the super soul, to the external Guru. We'll come to that sequence. So that curiosity, the eagerness has to be there to learn spiritual teaching. And that's why many times you see in a group, there will be some people who will be learning slokas very enthusiastically, learning the science very enthusiastically, learning the puja vidhi, whatever their interest is, but we have to be very eager. And that's why anyone who lives within the 10 square kilometers of the temple must come for Mangalarti. Yes, enthusiasm has to be there. The eagerness has to be there. Sixth one is, he has become humble, or at least free from the gross manifestations of pride. So disciple must not have any pride. At least try to become less and less proud. Try to become more and more humble. How can we be more humble? Yes, Dhamdar Maharaj says very nicely, he says, introspect and be honest. Introspect and be honest. That will make you very humble. Because we know there's so much dirt, inside. So when we are trying to be with the devotees, yes, we are portraying a good picture. But when are we alone, or when we are in trouble, are we portraying the same picture? So this way, humility, we have to become humble. Tyakta mana. Mana means pride. So we have to get rid of that. Tyakta mana. Next one is pranipatena para. Pranipata means? What is the meaning of pranipata? Inquire. Yes. So he has implicit obedience to the Guru and bows down in his presence. The famous verse we see, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Yes, we have to approach the Guru submissively, ask questions and serve the spiritual master. The next one is very important. He waits for the right time to clear his doubts about what he has learned from the Acharya. We have to wait for the right time. Now this, of course, we don't even think about it, but very important quality of a disciple, that we have to wait for the right time to clear our doubts. Yes. Sometimes what happens is we ask a question which has to be asked in person in a sabha. Yes, the Guru, of course, will have the capacity to answer it in such a way that it benefits everyone. But sometimes when these are questions, when we have to ask in private or person, we have to ask that. Many times we know when we are coming back from programs and spiritual master is tired and then devotee start asking questions. Oh, that's not the right time. The spiritual master is physically tired, you have to let him get some rest. And then Jayadeva Maharaj was here in February and is planning to come here again. And he was saying, when we were working out his program, he was saying that I guard my mornings very carefully. So up to 10 o'clock, no programs. So up to 10 o'clock he rises, he chants his rounds, he does a nice, wonderful puja. When next time he comes, please come to my house. I'll invite one by one so you can see his puja. Very beautifully does his puja. Very, very beautifully. I thought we do puja nicely, but when we saw him, he's just like next level. And then he of course writes and reads. So 10 o'clock is regards. So you cannot ask him questions at that time. Even us when we staying with him, we just understand that. So we ask all the questions about serving him the previous evening. So he waits for the right time to clear his doubts about what he has learned from the Acharya. Now this quality we never generally think of, but now we know and we have to be very careful. The next one is Santa. He is peaceful and self-controlled. The next one is Danta. Danta means controls both his mind and speech. And the next one is Anasuya, free from jealousy. So he is peaceful, self-controlled, controls both his mind and speech, and free from jealousy. And the last four are Sharanam Upagata. We know Upagata means to stay close, right? Sharanam means to take shelter. So always eager to hear instructions of divine grace from his Guru. So he's always eager to hear the instructions. Very important. Many times when we speak to people, they want to speak, they don't want to hear. One thing, they'll just go on and on and on and on and on. So the thing is that the etiquette says that when you are in the presence of senior devotees, it is you have to ask questions very briefly. Prabhupada said, eloquence is truth spoken concisely. So even when you ask question, many times you see, we had a devotee in temple earlier, his question will be like a class. So, he'll go on and on and on. But no, we ask questions and then we are always eager to hear instructions of divine grace from his Guru. Sharanam Upagata. This is one of the important qualities where we want to hear instructions from the spiritual master. The next one is he has total faith in Shastra. Very important, because our whole spiritual life, our whole movement, our entire life is based on Shastra. Because even Guru and Sadhu, whatever they speak, are based on Shastra. So we have to have total faith in Shastra. Shastra Vishwasa Sali. Shastra Vishwasa Sali. Has total faith in Shastra. The next one is very important for us. Very difficult in this day and age, but please hear carefully. Ready to undergo any tests set by the Guru for assessing his state of preparedness to be accepted as a deserving disciple. We have to be ready to go through any test to prove ourselves. One time Prabhupada was on a morning walk with the disciples, and he said, I want to drink a Ganga Jal now. Because Jalangi and Ganga pass through Mayapur Dham. The Harekrishna Maharaj didn't even wait. With his full clothes on, he just jumped, took a lota, jumped, and went in the middle of the Ganga. Ganga in Mayapur has got a very powerful force. It's flowing very powerfully. And the Harekrishna Maharaj took the lota. Why he went in the middle, not on the shore? Yes. So he wanted to give his spiritual master no contaminated water. So went right in the middle of the Ganga, then came swimming with the lota above the water and came and gave it to Srila Prabhupada. So this is how we have to ready to undergo any tests. And the last one is Krita Vida Shishya. Krita Vida. He will be a grateful disciple for the knowledge to be received from the Acharya. So we have to be always grateful for the knowledge we are receiving from the Acharya. So this is how these are the qualities of Guru and a disciple. Now, we come to a question, where can I find a Guru? Because Parikshit Maharaj found the Guru. Śukadeva Gosvāmī came on his own. Yes? And as we normally hear, that most times actually, we are not looking for a Guru. We have got no interest in spiritual life. Even today, sitting here after so many years of practice, I can tell you confidently and honestly, I have no interest in spiritual life. But the Guru intervenes. In many initiation lectures, you will see the Guru is actually saying that yes, Guru intervenes there. We are not, can anyone close their eyes and say very confidently that yes, very few of us are actually seekers. Very few of us are actually seekers. And even when we are seekers, the problem is that because there's so much else happening, we go to the wrong place. And we don't even realize that. When you go to a function, when you're invited, where you know that, it's just like one of the places that you have to just be there and show your presence just because you're a Hare Krishna devotee, then you see, so many people are misguided. So many people are misguided. So first of all, we are not seeking. Then when we are seeking, we go to the wrong place and spend so many years there. But then Krishna in the 11th canto tells Uddhava how to find a Guru. Where can I find a Guru? So let's start from ourselves first. Yeah, just hear very carefully. But don't now stop at one stage, because if you stop at one stage, that's more risky than not even getting a Guru. So first step is, yes, do you need, first of all, you have to think of a problem. Think of a precise problem which needs fixing. Right? So we give an example, that if we have a patch on the ceiling, is that a ceiling problem or other problem? It's a water leaking problem. Yeah? So we have to identify a problem. So once we have identified the problem, then next question is, do I need an external Guru? How many of you think, do I need an external Guru? I mean, whether it's material life or spiritual life, in the beginning, Krishna tells Uddhava, yes, in the beginning, you can be your own Guru. Which way? Which way can you be your own Guru? So when we are going through some of these stresses, some of these existential anxiety as they call, these sometimes we think are emotional problems, but sometimes they can be also spiritual problems. Yeah. So when you have these issues and then you go through some stage of meditativeness, Sachinandan Maharaj, when he conducts his classes, before he takes his new students to the level of introduction of bhakti, he will actually guide them through the yoga process, through the meditative process. So when we have these issues and when we go through some, any sort of, either pranayam or some meditation, some mantra chanting, we have a sound bath, we have so many things. So when you do that, a person who is expert in these meditative practices can actually help you in the second stage. A dentist won't help you, a plumber won't help you, an architect won't help you. No specialist will help you. When you're looking for a specialist, yes, you have a problem, and that's a spiritual problem, here I am. So, in the beginning, you have a problem, then how can you be your own Guru? What happens is, yes, with the help of our mind, and when we analyze the situation and make the right choices, our mind is the Guru. But that's only in the beginning, yes? So we have to understand that when we have a problem, we logically analyze the problem, we think rationally. Yes, that is, but we need these two things. Logical analysis is required. Yeah. Imagine, someone tells you, yeah, you got 15 people coming for dinner tonight. What will happen to you? What's going to happen in your household? You'll start thinking, okay, what I have got, what my husband has to buy, or what I have to buy, how will we cook, what will we present. So logical thinking and rational analysis are being done. So you are being your own Guru in this situation. Yes, this has to be preserved, right? Because the logical thinking and the rational analysis gives us the discretion to move forward. So you analyze everything, you analyze the situation, and now you are moving forward. Yeah? Okay, next. Now, we are using our own reasoning power as the guru. Yes? But then we have to come to a situation that some kind of spiritual effort is required. Some kind of spiritual effort. Because we know material situations cannot solve all the material problems. So then, actually, it is the time when we understand that we require spiritual effort. Actually, things start to happen. Now, Sanatana Prabhu gave a class some time back, and he was saying that when you speak something or when you write something down, what happens? It floats around in the universe, and the universe gives you the solution. So this way, also when we have a problem, when we have used our rational thinking, when we think that now is the time to approach a spiritual person, the universe starts acting. Right? Many times you see, we see a very nice scene. We immediately become very happy. We come to a nice kirtan, we see the beautiful deities decorated nicely. Something happens, something is happening. The spiritual feeling is happening, right? So when we are actually desiring to move forward and we are looking for that spiritual effort, the universe acts and then comes in front of us as devotee on the street, Rupa Raghunath on the street. Yes? People are looking, and then you meet them on the street. You think it's by chance? No. No, they have been looking, even though they don't know sometimes, and you meet them, hand them a book. Life changes from there. Yes? Now, the danger here is, you should be very careful of the danger also. If we are not thinking deeply and we are not looking for spiritual effort, what will happen? The deities will also look very. Every day we come to the temple, what's the big deal? Why do I have to bow down? The same people are, same person is there, same harekrishna. No. The novelty wears off, and then the inspiration doesn't remain. Yes? So the important thing is that when we are meeting someone by chance, the thought process has to go deeper, and we have to take advantage of that situation. So the universe has acted, books have come, devotees have come, association have come, something has happened, and now we are in the right place at the right time. We have to be aware of this, yes? And then, once we are aware that, yes, the beautiful nature has, reminded me of God, the deities have reminded me of God, this book has reminded me of God, then what happens? Then you start coming regularly. You start associating with people regularly. Yeah? And then you associate with like-minded people, and then you ask questions, you speak about the same topics. So this way, when we speak about the same topics, we go deeper, right? So gradually, things start to become clearer for all of us. Yes, we experience that. Maybe not, you have never thought of something like that. But if you really think back, you had some desire, you came in association of some devotees, then they became friends, then you started talking about, okay, this program, that program, this Swami is coming, this Guru is coming, let's do that. So the topics of conversation become spiritual, and the commonality is there. But still the Guru has not come. Still the Guru has not come. But these are all the processes we have to go through. And then a time will come, one day, even when we don't realize it, right? One particular person becomes our guide. Now, even this is not a Guru. Even this is not a Guru, but just becomes a guide, right? But someone who will help us to find the Guru who we are looking for. And that person, what we call in Sanskrit is Vartama Pathadarshak Guru. He is going to show you the path of the spiritual life. Of course, he's one of the Gurus also, but he's not exactly the Guru we are looking for. Maybe, maybe not. Krishna consciousness is not black and white. It's not black and white, it is quite a grey area. I know, one question can be answered in many, many ways. And then the Guru actually arrives into inverted commas. We either hear that Guru, we meet that Guru in person. Nowadays with technology, of course, the interaction becomes much before when we meet personally. Like we saw in the case of His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj. I mean, most people already knew about him more than he already knows about himself. The social media, everyone is already there. And everywhere he goes, my Guru Maharaj calls him the seventh wave. My Guru Maharaj is from California. And he was an avid surfer. And they say every seventh wave is the killer wave. And one who goes through that is an expert surfer. So His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj calls him the seventh wave. So then the person Guru arrives, and then because of what we have gone through, because of our using logical analysis, rational thinking, because of our desire to go through spiritual guides, then we can understand, yes, previously the concept of Guru, you think, Guru, like one of my cousins asked me once, he said, you are such an intelligent person, how come you are like this? I told him, because I am an intelligent person, I am like this. We are Krishna conscious, that's why it says first quality of a disciple is good intelligence. Yes, we want good intelligence. So this way, then we are, whatever we thought of Guru before, but now the perception changes. Now actually we are looking for a Guru. And when the Guru comes, yes, this is the person. This is the person. And then that Guru, so we have come from the stage of being our own Guru, to nature being our Guru, to super soul, to a devotee, and then to finally getting a Guru who is actually learned in Shastra, who lives the life of Shastra, who has helped others, and someone who has the time and generosity to help others in the spiritual life to personally move forward. So these are the qualities we saw for Guru also. Yes, that Guru is not someone who just, when we go to a function or any other spiritual function into inverted commas, you see a Swami sitting, people come, bow down, that's it. Next. Like that. Sometimes it might happen here also. Normally, of course, now we see when a senior devotee comes, they bring their own books also. So at least that exchange is there. We get a book, we exchange some, we give them some donation, and the association is there through the books. The association is there. So this way, we can see that it is not just, where can I find a Guru? Find a Guru from within, then within the nature, super soul, and then outside the Guru comes. This way, we can actually find a Guru. Shastra says that a Guru is a must. We cannot not have a Guru. And some of the, now you can ask me, where is the Praman of Śukadeva Prabhu, whatever you said just now. So the Praman is 11th Canto, 7th verse, I think. 7th chapter, I think verses 19 and 20, if I'm not mistaken. I can't find it in my notes here. Sorry, I think it's 11, when Krishna is instructing Uddhava, I think chapter 7, verses 19 and 20, where Krishna says, and then he starts speaking about the story of the Avadhuta Brahmana, whereas Yadu Maharaj meets the Avadhuta Brahmana, and he asks Avadhuta Brahmana, how come you don't have anything yet you're so happy? Then Avadhuta, he starts speaking about his 24 Gurus. Of course, there's another whole class on that. So Krishna, he is telling Uddhavji about the 24 Gurus by giving a story of the Avadhuta Brahmana. That in the beginning Avadhuta says, and Avadhuta at the end, when he speaks about all the 24 Gurus, And he says, very interesting, he says, when some people have problem, they think that this is the reaction of my karma. Yes, we think like that. What to do, Prabhu? Karma, instant karma. As the Keshav Maharaj says, there's a new restaurant in town. The name is karma. You don't get what you want, you get what you deserve. So, Avadhut, this Brahmana, very nicely he says that some people think when I have issues, when I have challenges, when I have adverse position, my bad karma is coming back. But that's not true. Some people say that my stars, my graha, my nakshatra is not in the right place now, or maybe next, what do you say, Sade Sati. No, he says that also is not a factor. He says some people say that my near and dear ones are the cause of my trouble. Sometimes family gives us trouble, more trouble than outsiders. So no, that also is not true. Whatever reasons we think of, our trouble is not true. Ultimately, what is the reason of our trouble? Our own mind. Our own mind. So Krishna says, yes, make the mind your guru. And then he gives the example of this story of this Avadhuta, where Avadhuta says, yes, from your mind, from the nature, then you can find a guru. And then, of course, in our case, a proper guru comes. I'll read something from here. Here Krishna is describing the 28 qualities of a sadhu to Uddhava. Again in the Bhāgavatam, in the 11th canto, Krishna says, one should approach a spiritual master who is full in knowledge of me as I am, who is peaceful, and who by spiritual elevation is not different from me. And he says, Mat Paraha, one who is devoted to me, and Mat Abhikyanam, one who knows me as I am. Mat Para and Mat Abhikyanam. O Uddhava, a saintly person is merciful and never injures others. Even if others are aggressive, he is tolerant and forgiving toward all living entities. His strength and meaning in life come from the truth itself. He is free from all envy and jealousy, and his mind is equal in material happiness and distress. Thus, he dedicates his time to work for the welfare of all others. His intelligence is never bewildered by material desires, and he's controlled his senses. His behavior is always pleasing, never harsh, and always exemplary, and is free from possessiveness. He never endeavors in ordinary worldly activities, and he strictly controls his eating. He therefore always remains peaceful and steady. So we'll recite one verse together, which gives us that yes, we need Guru to get God. Because when we sing in the morning, the Gurvashtakam, Yasya Prasadat, Bhagavad Prasado, Yasya Prasadan Naviti Kutopi. That with the mercy of Guru only we can get Krishna. Without the mercy of Guru, there is no chance of getting Krishna. So please repeat after me. Very, very popular verse, very beautiful verse. Yasya deve para bhaktir, Yasya deve para bhaktir, Yatha deve tatha guru, Yatha deve tatha guru, Tasyaite kathitahi artaha, Tasyaite kathitahi artaha, Prakashanta Mahatmanaha, Prakashanta Mahatmanaha. All the confidential meaning of the scriptures manifest in the heart of one who has as much devotion for his Guru as for God. So when we understand Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra, that Guru is as important as God, all the imports of the scriptures will come into our hearts. Tadavidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva-darshanam. Yes, please approach a spiritual master, approach submissively, inquire from him submissively, and render some service to him. They will reveal the truth to you because they have realized it themselves. So I want to conclude this class with one wonderful prayer which Prahlad Maharaj sings and he actually is addressing Nrsimhadev, but he is asking for a service for his spiritual master, Narad Muni. I'm going to sing it actually, so I don't know whether you can follow it with me or no. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe. It's 7:9:28, so if you want to take it out, 7:9:28. Such a nice verse. 7:9:28. That's 7:9:28. You got it? 7:9:28. 7:9:28. Everyone? Yes. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe. Kama bhikama manu yah prapatan prasangat. Kritvatma satsurarshina bhagavad grihita. Soham katam nu visujeta vabhritya sevam. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe. Kama bhikama manu yah prapatan prasangat. Kritvatma satsurarshina bhagwan grihita. Soham katam nu visujeta vabhritya sevam. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narad Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? Grantaraj Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. In the morning when we start our puja, we chant this wonderful verse from Rig Veda. How does it go? Mother, how does this verse go? We chant every day. Sada Pashanti Surya Diva Chakshuratatam Tadvipashokyanyo Jagram Sasanita Vishnu Yat Paramapadam. How does the verse go? Start, Madhuri. Basically, the meaning of the verse is that, I recite it every day, just starting is not coming. That I meditate upon the wonderful devotees of the Lord who are like sun, who are quite close to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because they can see the Vaikuntha Loka, they can also, please also enlighten me so that I can see the Loka of Vishnu. How to start? You know that verse, right? Yeah. And everyone who's a pujari should know this verse, should know this prayer. I recited it every day. Sorry, please excuse me for that. Thought block. Any questions or comments? We have 3 minutes. Reflections.
In the Bhagavatam group, would you be able to share those 14 qualities of spiritual master?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I can share that. Yeah.
Prabhu, Guru is one of the qualities sinless. How is it, Prabhu? Because whoever comes in here, most would have done sins of the not sure if I'm asking that question.
No. In Gujarati they are saying, sadhunu kul and vrikshnu mool kyare joai nahi. So you don't see the background of the sadhu and the root of the tree, right? So the sadhu might be sinless. We are all, sinless. Pure, of course, they are Nitya Siddha devotees. Prabhupada was a Nitya Siddha devotee. But then, what are they now? What they say in Christianity? You don't see the past of the sinner, the future of the saint. Yes? So when, no, you don't see the other way around, sorry. You don't see the past of the saint and the future of the sinner. Yeah? So past of the saint means, maybe whatever they've gone through, but now they are pure devotees, so they're sinless.
Or once they
Sin is far, far away from them. Of course, in the 9 stages of the bhakti, they always describe that even at the highest stage of bhava, of course, bhava, there's no material desires, but even at the asakti, nishta, ruchi stage, there's desires. But the desires are very infrequent and not very intense. The desire might come, but it's just again thrown out. Very sinless. And as we know in Kali Yuga, sin is actually when you're performing the sin, when you're speaking or acting. In thoughts, the sin is not counted. They're sinless. So all these put together, then you can understand that the devotees are sinless. Yeah. Any other question? Was it too much technical or okay? We should stop the telecast now. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.
This guy, Sakira Guru ki
Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.